Okay, this video is about how to solve quadratics using factoring and quadratic formula. Alright, solving quadratics with factoring is just simply that. You factor them. You can factor any method using any method you want. I reviewed you with MIFDARM, and that's what I'm going to use in these examples. Either way, you should end up with the same answers, same factors. So, MIFDARM, remember M is to multiply A times C. A is a 1. In this case, A, B, C. C is a -8. So it's a -8. F is to factor this into two terms that are going to add to be -2. So -4 times a +2. Those would add to give me -2. D is for divide by A. A in this case is a 1. Reduce. I don't need to reduce either one. M is to make into factors. So I put x's in the bottom and reading up. So my two factors are x minus 4 and x plus 2. Those are my two factors to solve. Now, I need to take it one step further to completely solve this. I take x minus 4 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0. And if I solve this, x is 4, x is -2. So my answers are actually points, 4, 0, and -2, 0. Because remember, solutions are where it is touching, where a certain graph is touching the x-axis. Okay, so it's an x-intercept, so it's an x value and a 0 for y. So your answers will all look like this today. Example 2, we're going to do MIFDARM again. Now, be careful. In this case, it's written out of order, so I'm going to rewrite this in exponent order so I can correctly get A, B, and C straight. So M is to multiply A times C, so I get a -6. F, I'm going to factor -6 into two factors that will add to give me a +5. So we think +6 times -1. Those will multiply to give me -6, yet they will add to give me a +5. Multiply, factor, divide by A. This case, A is -2. Reduce. This will reduce to 3, and this will be a -1. This reduces to +1 and +2. Those negatives will cancel. And then make into factors. So x is in the bottom. So I have -x plus 3 and 2x plus 1. Then I set each of these factors equal to 0 and solve it. So -x is equal to -3, so x is 3. 2x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1. 2x equals -1/2. -1 divided by 2 gives me -1/2. So my 2 points are 3, 0, and -1/2, 0. Those are my two solutions. Now, if a trinomial doesn't factor, you can use the quadratic formula. Yes, your favorite thing ever, quadratic formula. You still need this. So this one is not going to factor. I'm just going to save you the grief of trying. So we need to use quadratic formula. Again, identify A, in this case is a 1, B is -10, C is 22. So we just plug it in. -b, so I change the sign of B, so it's 10 plus or minus the square root b squared. -10 times -10 is 100, minus 4 times A times C. All of that over 2 times A, which is just 2. Now I'm going to reduce what's going on here in the radical. 4 times 2 times 22 is 88. So it's 100 minus 88, and that gives me 12. So it's really the square root of 12. If I factor that, that's 4 times 3. 4 is a perfect square. So if I reduce this, 2 square roots of 3 is what comes out of that 12 over 2. Now at this stage of the game, you're going to look to see if you can reduce. Notice that I can factor a 2 out of both terms on top. That gives me 5 plus or minus the square root of 3 over 2. These 2's will then cancel. So my two solutions are 5 plus the square root of 3 and 5 minus the square root of 3. All right, those are the two values. So when I write my points, I say 5 plus the square root of 3, comma 0, and 5 minus the square root of 3, comma 0. These are the two x-intercepts that are solutions to this equation. Let me do one more quadratic formula. Now, just rewrite the formula, negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Write it if you don't know it. Now this one's unique because it's not set equal to 0. We do need it to be set equal to 0, so I'm going to move all of this stuff over here. Subtracting 2x, I have 4x squared, that goes to 0, plus 4 equals 8. Now I'm going to subtract 8. So what I end up with is 4x squared minus 4 equals 0. This is what I'm trying to work with. Now, in this situation, a is 4. b is the coefficient of the x term. There is no x term, so my b is a 0. c is the constant, that's the negative 4. Now I can plug into quadratic formula. So negative b is simply negative 0, plus or minus b squared is 0 minus 4 times a times c, negative 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Negative times a negative makes it positive. Over 2a. a is 4, so 2 times 4 is 8. Well, what's the square root of 64? 8. So what I really have is a positive 8 over 8 and a negative 8 over 8. Well, positive 8 over 8 is 1. Negative 8 over 8 is negative 1. So my two solutions are 1, 0, and negative 1, 0. Okay, so you have to work through all those steps of quadratic formula to get your x values of the solutions. For the whisk, I want you to do this one. You cannot factor this, so you're going to use quadratic formula, and you're going to come up with the two solutions for your answer as well. Remember to write them as points, an x and a y coordinate. Come with your questions ready to go for class.